Welcome to your creative new year. Pause for just a moment and rate yourself. On a scale of 0 to 10, how present are you? Just do a quick check-in. 0 is completely checked out. 5 is kind of half in, half out. 10 is fully present and engaged. I see your question about the workbook. Let me see what I can do. Yeah. I have the questions in here, so it's okay if you only have paper. Write this number down. We're going to come back to it. And I want you to just reflect on this for a moment. What do you want to get out of this workshop? What's this new year going to bring for you? Drop that in the chat. As I mentioned before, be here now. Put your phone away. Be open. Enjoy the art process. Ask me questions. So, Happy New Year. Why is New Year special? Well, it is a special reminder day, but there's zero pressure because it is really just another day. And it reminds us that we can create each and every day fresh. And by that, I mean, make the best of each day that shows up. And also, there's no need to begin anything on a specific day. Most New Year's resolutions end by January 19th. That's how long we can do something by sheer force of will. And today we'll talk about really how to be anchored into your values so that they become easier to sustain. Let me set the vibe for you. Today we are not catching up. We are not behind. There is no should. We are women who think for ourselves, and when necessary, we will rebel against social convention. You'll hear about that in a minute. There is no hurry. Did anybody dress up for New Year's like this? I was in my pajamas. Quick bit of housekeeping. This is for education and inspiration, and I really hope you're open to the inspiration. And every woman is welcome here. Brene Brown is a social psychology researcher. She says vulnerability is the birthplace of innovation, creativity, and change. So you might feel a little vulnerable today as you explore some of these ideas. It's okay. You did your check-in with the number. And what we're going to do is a little art, a little visualizing, some writing, and you'll leave with a plan for your values this year. Got a raffle at the end and time for questions. Ray Kuakabo says creation takes things forward. Without anything new, there is no progress. Creation equals new. She's an incredible designer. So what is creativity? Now, at first, you just might imagine this, like high quality art in a museum, or dancers who've trained their whole life, people in the symphony who are experts of their craft, performers on the stage. And I think a lot of this brings us the feeling of incredible discipline, dedication, devotion to one singular thing at the sacrifice of everything else. But creativity is so much more, and we can use it every day. Now, creativity could be participating in a mural in your community. It's also what you're doing right now. Building a business is a creative act. Claudia, traveling is a creative act, documenting that travel. Dancing with a friend, having fun, that's creativity. Journaling, putting your feelings down. These are everyday bits of creativity that make a huge difference in our life and in the lives of the people around us. We don't just do this work so that we can kind of navel gaze and feel good. We do this work because it's good for us, the people around us, and our communities. Looking at art changes your brain. Consuming art is essential for inspiration. Now, baking can be a creative act. You can follow a recipe, but how you do it can be done with creativity and beauty. Even your nails, a little love on your fingers is creativity. Now look at your surroundings right now. Look around your desk. What did you set up? You created that space. If you don't like it, you can change it. So let's make some casual art. No pressure. And what I want you to do is create a scribble. So grab a pen or a marker, whatever you got, paint. And I just want you to keep your pen or your brush on the paper the whole time. Here's an example. I just want you to go slow. There is no hurry. And just move. Move your hand. Notice your breath. Notice maybe the sound of the drawing. Notice the shapes. I want you to put your pen or pencil or brush in the other hand, your non-dominant hand. This is a little trick that gets your body and your brain in the mood to create and think differently. So by doing this bilateral drawing, using both sides of your body with your hands, it also helps expand the parts of your brain that are being used in this process. So I'll give you a moment to do this with your non-dominant hand. I want to remind you that you showing up today is a creative act. Hillary, you showing up to make art when you have a million other responsibilities with work and parenting is a creative act. Let me define it for you. The American Psychological Association says creativity is the mental process leading to invention, solution, or synthesis. I want you to remember that word, synthetic creativity. That doesn't mean like artificial, like synthetic fabrics. It means synthesis, genuine addition of a couple of things that now go together in a new way. They create a new relationship between the things that exist. If you brought a candle over to your desk, you have done some synthesis in creating your space. Now, primitive art, we thought was maybe 25,000 to 40,000 years old. The last few years, we know that in Namibia, there is cave art that's over 70,000 years old. And there was certainly so much more of this kind of art, but only the art in caves has remained because the weather, of course. But this kind of artwork, just the scribbling that you've been doing, helps connect you to your lineage of human artists. This is in our biology. It's genetic to create. We want to make our mark. It makes us both part of the collective and it helps us make our own special contribution. There's an evolutionary advantage to this. And Hillary, we talked about this a lot. Ellen Dias-Nike talks about making things special. It helps us connect, advance as a society. So New Year's is a way of making special. Maybe you put on special clothes, maybe you danced, you shared stories. All of that is a way of making special. That's creativity. When you decide to dress up to go to a party, that's creativity. But you can also put on special things throughout the day and reify objects, maybe your favorite necklace, favorite ring, all of that is focused on making something special for yourself. Now, art is a way of knowing, is a core tenet of what I do. It's how we know ourselves, it's how we know others, and how we know and connect to our communities. That's Pat Allen. So, are you creative? Absolutely. Research shows over and over and over again that creativity is not a fixed trait. It's not something that either you got it or you don't. Creativity is developed, it is improved upon with practice, exposure. Remember, I said looking at art changes your brain, and with training, showing up here, taking a class, being a part of a group that makes art together. Sylvia Plath tells us the worst enemy to creativity is self-doubt. And when you notice that showing up, or maybe you want to skip the exercise that I'm going to give you for your homework, that's self-doubt, and you just let it go because you're here for creativity. Let's talk about values. Now, this is on page 3 of your workbook. And let me get you started, and I will drop it again in the chat. These value spheres are the areas in our life that we might want to focus on this year. So pick 3 that really stick out. And it doesn't mean the other ones aren't important, right? I can work on my friendships and my creativity and my finances, but I'm also parenting. It doesn't mean that parenting is not important. Of course it is. Just ones that seem important for you this year to focus on. And in a minute, I'm going to teach you how to take something that I thought was so boring and put a creative spin on it in these value spheres. So pick 3 and circle them or put a check mark. Remember, it doesn't mean the others are not important. Just pick 3 that intrigue you. Now pick one that is important to you for right now, these days, that you just want to emphasize, learn more about, get better at. It could be an area that you struggled in this last year, or it could be an area that you're curious about and you want to make a stride towards. I can almost hear some of you saying, no, I can't pick one. Creative work requires one, requires decision. It requires the intensity of one. Just pick one. Women often show up in the modern creative woman having tried to work on many things all at once. And it's how we fail. We can't do everything all at once. In fact, I know that because I got some really good advice from my mom. And she said, you can do anything and be anything, just not all at the same time. We can be who we want to be in any given moment. We can't do everything in any given moment. So here's my example of how I took what I felt like was the most boring of the values and put a creative spin on it. And then I'll tell you how it's kind of panned out. 2016, I thought I really kind of should work on my finances, but I know that's not a good way to approach it. So I thought finances. What do I need to do? Banking, education. I wanted to learn more about investing, get out of debt. So I made a list of things I might want to do. But before I started in on them, I thought about how I wanted to feel. And how I wanted to feel was confident, pride, And why did I want to do anything with my finances? I wanted to keep traveling regularly. I want to have a happy retirement. And I wanted to save for my son's education. Those are really powerful, important values about my own personal growth, about my health in the future, and about parenting, but they all are going to relate to my finances. One value that you choose will kind of recruit some of the others. Now, under the actions, the first year, all I did really was read some books. I opened a new bank account, and then I created some affirmations. I changed all my passwords. I made my word of the year around learning about finances. It's about all I did that first year, but I felt really good about it. I had started. And then I started to get more creative. Well, what if I made a monthly donation to charity? What if instead of worrying about money, I could be more generous with money? And that's definitely a goal I have for the future, more and more generous. So I signed up for a monthly donation, comes just out of my checking account, and it supports music. That kind of counterintuitive, creative idea really helped me. Now, the ongoing nature of this value is I've been continuing to grow in it because I chose 1 year to focus and grow. It set me up for ongoing growth. So I'm still working on finances, but I'm learning more and I'm growing in a steady way. For me, I was able to turn finances into a creative act. So I want you to grab page 3 and 4 in your workbook. And here's the questions if you don't have your workbook yet. So why are you excited about the value that you chose? Are you sure? This is the radical part. Are you sure this is the one you want? Make sure. Don't let society tell you what you should focus on. Do a little brainstorm, 10 ideas. Pick one of those to focus on. And I'll give you just a few minutes to work on this. One more moment here. Next, I want to talk about the thing that can sustain you long past when your motivation wanes. It is the feeling you want. So, what is that feeling that you crave? Now, have a look at page 5 in your workbook. There is a list of many, many positive emotions just for inspiration. You don't have to use any of those, you can choose your own. How do you want to feel as you're working on this value? Remember, in mine, I wanted to feel confident and proud. How do you want to feel? I would say be intuitive. Whatever comes to mind first is what you should go with. And then on page 6, I want you to use lines, shapes, and colors to show the feeling that you want to have at the end of the year when you focus on working towards this one value. Happy, proud, curious, satisfied, energized. Now, lines and shapes and colors are anything. A painting of a house is made of lines and shapes and colors, or it could be abstract. You could do another scribble. However you do this will be great. There's no hurry. Just work intuitively. Don't think about it too much. Be spontaneous. And I'll give you a couple minutes here. One more moment here on the lines and shapes and colors. Make sure you really capture that feeling. We're moving quickly through this. That's part of the creative process is the ability to set shift. Draw your attention to the next thing that needs your attention as directed rather than lingering on an old project or being scattered about a future project. Keep your focus. Okay, you can drop this in the chat. What value are you going to focus on this year? You can drop in that feeling too. What value and what feeling? Sharing it out loud with a friend when we share our goals publicly, there's something about that act that makes it more likely for us to follow through. Little psychology trick you can use. Oh, Claudia's focusing on creativity. I love it. You're definitely a creative person. It's really powerful to focus on our strengths as well. Oh no, Hillary, you're between a few. Doesn't matter, just pick. You don't need any more information to decide. I think finances is fun because you can bring like a creative aspect to that. It almost seemed impossible to me to make it creative, but you can do it. Oh, Dr. Annika's doing education. Very good. Very good. These are cool. All right, next, mind mapping. If you have never used mind mapping before, you are in for a new strategy you're going to use for the rest of your life, I promise. We do this a lot inside the Modern Creative Woman membership as a way to document what's happening. It's really just a visual diagram and it organizes our thoughts, our ideas. It's a way to solve problems and it's using imagery to connect concepts. And each of these little circles around the center idea could be words, phrases, pictures, colors. There's no wrong way to do a mind map. You can tape paper onto the other side and continue a mind map out in unlimited ways. It's a powerful tool for solving problems and retaining information. So I created a mind map about finances. So take notes, Hillary. These are the things that I focused on. And it was, the long term around happy retirement, saving for my son, really being able to donate more to charity, to community, have some positive feelings, of course. So pull out page 8 in your workbook, and the link is in the chat, or you can just draw this out. Draw a circle, write education, creativity, finances, whatever your word is in the middle, and start making a mandala shaped mind map. And be quick, spontaneous, what we're going for here. Just another moment on this one. All right, let's keep it moving. This is another kind of mind map, and we're going to make 3 of these. So they focus on past, present, and future. And this is taking advantage of our natural tendency of our brain to do a little time travel. We think of the past, we think of the future, we worry about the future, and we need to stay in the present while we're doing all of that. So this mirrors what we might normally want to do. All right, this is past around finances. I created a mind map to share with you. I wanted to ignore, I wasn't tracking anything. I was likely to overspend. I was investing, I was traveling, I was reading a lot. So those are things I liked, but there was a lot that I didn't like. I was creating my own stress. So then when I think about the present, right, I have money dates with myself. I have a lot more confidence, right? That was the feeling I was going for. Tracking. I rarely overspend, and I'm still doing the things that I really like. The idea of reading plus investing in my own knowledge, this is where more values get pulled in. So in that area, I'm part of several different women's communities. I'm part of several online communities, the Modern Creative Woman, of course. I'm in a coaching group, and I'm in some groups that are sort of less exactly related, but they help me with my confidence around things. And so I'm in a service group, an anti-racism group, and these are all kind of part of investing in myself by investing time. That finances started to become more about my own abundance and putting money into personal development. And then the future, those things that I like, reading and investing in myself, travel, always staying within budget, tracking, consulting, hiring some consultants. So you see how over time it shifted. So I want you to create your past, present, and future related to your value. I guarantee you need no additional information to have your value and some decisions about it right now. So pages 9, 10, and 11. I want you to work quickly on past, present, and future as it relates to your value. And remember, zero judgment. Don't worry, don't judge. Kindness towards yourself on this. If there's things in your past you don't like, it's okay. You're working on it now. All right, give you a couple minutes to do this. Another moment here. You can always finish this after the class. I'll just give you another moment. Okay, modern creative women. I have a page in the workbook, and then there's some more resources going on that I want you to finish, ideally today when your brain is already getting creative. But these are really important. These are the next steps, and they take a little longer. And I'm doing a in-person retreat in San Francisco at the end of the month, and we're going to be building on these ideas in a really powerful way. So you're kind of getting a sneak peek. This is called a bucket list brainstorm. And you've probably been in work situations or at school where people said, let's do a brainstorm to solve a problem. And a couple people raise their hand, they give their ideas, and then there's premature consensus. And somebody says, well, what they said is fine. Yeah, that's fine. Let's just do that. That is not a brainstorm. A brainstorm is done in private. It is not just generating the solution. It is generating idea after idea after idea. The more wild, the better. Honestly, if you could just go for it, what would you do for strategies this year on your value? Now, Hillary, you could open 1 million accounts. You could start some wild businesses. You could do all kinds of things to work on your finances. That's the kind of stuff that would go in here. Now, the research shows there's some really compelling studies about brainstorming, and they brought in a group of people, divided them into two. They asked one group to generate as many ideas as they could. You get $1 for every idea. The second group was asked to generate really good ideas, and they would get $1 for each good idea. Now, what happened was the researchers administered creativity assessments. This was part of a larger study. And they found that this group that was paid $1 for generating as many ideas as possible, their creativity scores were statistically significantly different from the people that were just asked to generate good ideas. Now, they kept doing these follow-up studies, and that brainstorm group had up to 10 weeks of increase in their creativity on these measures. And they stopped measuring after 10 weeks, so it goes longer. So this one exercise will sustain you for quite a while in your creativity. So Claudia, brainstorm, do a brainstorm at least once a month. So in the workbook, there's space to do this, to write down as many ideas as you can think of to work on your value. You can say, what would other women do? What would women I admire do? What wild and creative ideas would move you forward? Remember, as many as possible. The more, the better. And then the final page that might take you a day. Don't spend any more time than a day on this. Do not let yourself get confused. Do not spend more time on this. It's commitment time. The thing that you're going to do to move you forward in your value. And just pick one. So Hillary, you're not allowed to be torn between a few. Pick one. After you do it, then you can add some more. Put in the specifics. This is what goal setting usually looks like at work. People miss this beginning part. only do these goal settings once we've really mastered. Yay, Claudia's going to do a whole bunch of brainstorms. Yay, good. I've got a couple affirmations for you. I'm a modern creative woman who's on a journey. I enjoy myself in the process. I'm able to easily focus on what is most important. I look to the future for inspiration, and I express myself authentically. Okay, now check in real quick with yourself. On a scale of 0 to 10, how present are you? Now drop both numbers in the chat. I started at a 7. It plummeted when I couldn't get my computer going, and now I'm at a 9.8. Drop both numbers in that chat. Let me see where you're at. The more you can stay in the now, the easier it is to do this kind of value-based work. Focusing on our values makes decision-making so much easier. So Dr. Annika can say, will I learn something from this experience? No, I'm going to pass on it this year. Claudia can say, if I join this class, will it increase my creativity? No, I'm going to pass on that one this year. Oh, Hillary, from a 4 to a 6. Oh, yeah, you're at work. It's hard to be focused on a bunch of things when you're in that environment. Environment certainly matters. So you can be in your space and kind of distracted by what's around you. Oh, yay, about finances, Hillary. 7 and now a 9. Yay, right on. Well, Dr. Hillary and Dr. Annika, you can do a thing that'll reset your brain. It's like a reset. Just close your eyes for 10 seconds. When you can't get quite settled because of environmental factors, just close your eyes for 10 seconds. It's a cognitive trick that helps us like refresh. It's kind of cool. It's really great when the environment is like, meh. Okay. Now, let me get my modern creative woman information here for you. All right, I got my random number generator, so I'm going to give away a cool art kit in just a moment. Let me cue that up. But the idea of being a modern creative woman, it solves big problems. I mean, these are really big problems for women. Isolation, feeling stuck. That O word, I don't even like to say the word because there's a research study that showed our blood pressure goes up. We can really struggle and feeling uninspired. Burnout is a huge problem for women, of course. There's sort of this constant fear of failure or judgment that stops so many women from taking the steps they need. And seeking purpose is really huge. Linking all of your values and goals into your purpose and finding meaning will help you move forward. So if you want to continue this kind of work, I think the Modern Creative Woman is the best personal development program on the planet. It is full of creativity, neuroaesthetics, and the idea of using creativity in an everyday way to make even the mundane become more interesting, feeling more engaged in whatever you're doing. And having balance in what you do is essential. So I mentioned before, I've got an in-person retreat in San Francisco. It is the 25th of January. I'm super excited about that. I would love to see you there. And then the online program is 3 times a month. It's live. I record it so you can watch it. We have a beautiful membership site. And the problems that this program solves for women is incredible. And people are telling me they've taken real risks in their business and then some really powerful action steps towards connecting with others, relationships, romance. The work that you do is incredible. And when you learn the process of creativity and applying it in every aspect of your life, it just becomes so much more fun. Okay, there's the dates. Here's a link. There you go. You can see what the programs are. Alrighty. What will you remember about this workshop? Drop that in the chat while I do the random number generator, which is a research tool probably a lot of you have used. All right. Summarizing, repeating what you learned is one of those really simple cognitive tricks. Takes almost no time and it will transform your retention, especially when you're distracted, right? For those of you that were not an 8, 9, or 10, if you're distracted, like a little review will help you. Dr. Annika says, not doing everything at once. Yeah. One thing at a time, like my mom says. Yeah, that's an important step. Slow down, says Hillary. Focus on one thing at a time. What else? I love what you said about creativity and being able to move forward, but not get stuck in the past or these crazy future projects. Yeah, we can reflect on the past, but not in the past, right? Like we need to stay anchored and we can learn from the past, but only in the moment. I can get zesty with the creative ideas. Oh, zesty, that's a good emotional word. I like that. I should add that to the list. All right, let me see. The random number generator says Roseanne from Texas. Yay, you won. All right, so before you hang up, Roseanne, make sure you give me your address. You can put it in the Q&A because I think that just goes straight to me. Give me your address and I'm going to put something in the mail for you. Claudia says, just decide for one at a time and creativity is everywhere. Yeah. I hope you got the gist that like I'd focused that year on finances, but it started to include community, relationships, investing in my memberships where I'm a member in communities. And really it tied into my family, my parenting, and my future retirement. All of that got pulled in when what I did was just start a new bank account. But I focused on the value and the why. All right. Thank you. Thank you. I'm going to stop share for a second. All right. Do you have any questions? Anything you're wondering? Let me know. All right. Be sure and drop into that question your address, Roseanne, so I can send you that gift package. All right. Well, if you liked this, will you let me know? You could tag me on Instagram, you could message me on Instagram or hit reply to my email that I sent with the link. I would love to know what worked for you, what stuck out, what you were most engaged with. Thank you. Got it, Roseanne. San Antonio, how fun. I've been there for our therapy conference. Yay. All right. If you are thinking that you would like to come to that in-person retreat, I would love to have you. It is January 25th, and you would want to register for that pretty soon. It's a great price. You get the whole day. I feed you a beautiful meal. We make incredible art, and it's a community of women. That was the kind of thing I started investing in back in 2016 when I was beginning to realize that finances included investing in my own self-care. So I would love to see you there. Let's see. So nice to be in a shared space with you again. Aw, thank you, Hillary. I'm so happy for you to be here. And I hope your little one's doing well. Hope good and happy. Yeah, I'm sure. Mhm. All right. Well, hit me up. Get inside the modern creative woman, and we do this work times 10. It's really powerful stuff. And remember, you're not behind. You're not catching up. You're exactly where you are on your journey with your values because it is the long road. Your values don't end. Claudia's creativity will not end. She will continue. And focusing on it for 1 year will give her the foundation for a lifetime in growth in that area. All right. Thank you, Islam. I hope you got the workbook. If you don't, send me a DM on Instagram and I will send you the PDF. All right. I'm so glad you were here. So refreshing. Yay. That was my dream. All right. I will see you all very soon. Enjoy the rest of your day and be creative. Take care. Thank you.